Alright, so as you can see, I'm back here, and no warrants, no tickets, no arrests, no anything. Had three good sheriffs out of four. The one sheriff that didn't want to identify himself on camera, he's a douchebag. He's cocky and arrogant, and he thought his shit didn't stink, and he didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. Um, so he was close. I give him that. That whole little trespassing sign is a surveillance advertisement sign. It's not a posted no trespassing sign. So, do you want to press that aspect? Okay, you can. Guess what? It's still going to come down to the property manager whether he wants to press charges or not. It has nothing to do with the cop. They want to write me a citation for it? Go ahead. I'll meet you in court. I'll get it thrown out because your reason for stop, the reason why this law enforcement officer made contact with me, and he clearly even said it, I was suspicious. So, whether my New York tag had a license plate cover over it or not will get thrown out because your reason for stop was not to do with that. Your reason for stop was to do with me being suspicious. Whether I was loitering or not, which when I read the statute of loitering, it clearly states I had to be conducting a crime. And it said for the factor of number two that when the individual would see law enforcement arrive and he all of a sudden decided to flee, that's considered loitering and prowling. I did not flee when I saw law enforcement. I actually continued to mess around on my phone on Facebook for a second, and then I went and looked at the vehicles. It really sounds like loitering and prowling. So, yeah, you weren't getting nowhere there. Also, it says on the subsection of that, it's either 3 or 4, I can't look at it because my phone will kick off of the camera, that the individual has to be, me being the individual, I have to be allowed to give a reason of what I'm doing before the officer can determine whether or not he can conduct an identity check for identification. I clearly explained to the individual what I did. I was looking at cars. Whether or not it's 3 o'clock in the morning, that does not matter. Because guess what? The first subsection of that says a law-abiding citizen times. So does that mean when the close of business happens, nobody's a fucking law-abiding citizen anymore? We just out here going willy-nilly, killing people, stealing shit, and being wild and reckless? I don't think your loitering and prowling is really going to stick. I don't think you trying to enforce a Florida state statute on a New York registration is going to stick. Oh, and then you wanted to get me for saying that I was parking on the sidewalk. Well, I wasn't parked on the sidewalk. I was actually parked in the entrance of the parking lot. As I backed up, I had to stop because your law enforcement officer was coming in. So me being respectful, I waved him forward as he was impeding traffic, which I stated in the video. Yeah, so you can try and get me on any of those, but guess what? They're all dismissible because of how the officer addressed the initial conversation in this. You came at me telling me you're suspicious. You're breaking the law because you're suspicious. And all I wanted you to do was educate your officer. I wanted you to explain to him. That was it. I'm not a bad dude. I respect you guys. I love you guys. Shit ever pops off and happens, guess what? And I'm there. Bet your ass I'm gonna fucking help you. What I want you to do is to be a better police officer. Because there's too many bad conflicts that happen nowadays where you guys get sucked into it and get hurt. You don't need that, especially being you. And then being that cocky, arrogant cop like the third one was, check your ego at the door. Just because you have a badge on your sleeve, and the same thing kind of goes with that first one. He was young and new. He has that badge on his sleeve and he thinks he's a badass. Check your ego at the door. Because guess what? You're not doing anybody any justice by breaking the law. You're just proving you're part of the problem. You're just going out there and showing every individual that is out there that, hey, the cops are better than us. We can break the law. And you don't even know it. Be safe, guys. That's all I have to say.